3 weeks. That's all it took for Harry to spiral into an abyss from which he'd never emerge the same. The events that unfolded during this agonizing period were far from gentle. They were a jarring revelation about the woman he thought he knew and the unsettling truth lurking beneath their seemingly idyllic life. Let's rewind to the beginning to understand the gravity of Harry's crisis. For reasons he couldn't quite articulate, he found himself fixated on an innocuous photograph from Croatia. 3 weeks had passed since those yacht images circulated online, igniting wild speculation. Yet, Harry couldn't shake the feeling that the photograph concealed a significant truth, one that clawed at the edges of his consciousness. He would zoom in, pull back, and return to it time and again, trying to decipher its meaning, each glance a desperate search for clarity in a growing fog of doubt. Then, one fateful night, his eyes caught a detail previously overlooked. On the yacht's deck, almost discarded, lay a small navy blue canvas bag. Unremarkable at first glance, but the gold lettering etched on its surface hit him with the weight of cold reality. Soho House. A chill spread through his body. This wasn't just any yacht. It was a vessel belonging to an elite members-only club that had long been part of Meghan's life. Suddenly, the innocent coincidence he had initially brushed off transformed into something ominous. With rising dread, Harry sensed something was dreadfully wrong. He knew he wouldn't find peace until he comprehended what this revelation meant. His hands trembled as he opened a web browser and typed in names that had never raised suspicion before. Soho House, Marcus Anderson, and Meghan Markle. As the results populated the screen, a wave of cold terror washed over him. Up until now, Marcus Anderson had merely been Meghan's charming friend from Toronto, a fixture in their lives who delighted in social gatherings. Yet, the truth that emerged painted an altogether different picture. Marcus was not just part of the social fabric, he was the architect behind it. Old blogs, faded interviews, and obscure magazine articles painted a clear, chilling portrait of a man who didn't merely attend gatherings, he orchestrated them. Described as an access broker, he linked aspiring young women with influential men, guiding them through the labyrinth of high society. As Harry sat back in his chair, his heart raced. He felt foolish for never questioning Marcus's ubiquitous presence, front row seats at their wedding, whispered conversations, that unsettling sense that he was always lurking nearby. With dawning horror, he started to wonder if there was more to their friendship. What if Marcus was not just an acquaintance but a manipulative puppet master guiding Meghan's ascent? Flipping through online articles turned into a marathon of revelations over the next 6 hours. Each discovery further distorted his perception of Meghan, his past, and even their relationship. Deep inside, a desperate hope lingered, that he was simply misreading the signs, that coincidences could account for the troubling overlaps he was uncovering. But that flicker of hope extinguished completely when he picked up the phone late one night. Quietly, beneath the pall of insomnia, he dialed a contact from his past, a former member of Soho House who possessed inside knowledge of that elusive world. When the call connected, Harry's voice emerged as a strained whisper. "I need to ask you about Marcus Anderson." The ensuing silence was like an eternity, and when the man finally spoke, he delivered a truth Harry was ill-equipped to handle. Marcus didn't merely facilitate connections. He ran what insiders referred to as a finishing school for ambitious women. This was not about etiquette, it was about access. He cultivated women who aspired to greatness, teaching them how to navigate the upper echelons of society seamlessly. The realization sank in with an almost crushing weight. Marcus had been grooming Meghan long before Harry entered the picture. As the conversation unfolded, each syllable rattled Harry's insides. Marcus was an expert in intel. He had access to calendars, private guest lists, and he capitalized on this information to create opportunities. Harry felt as if the walls were closing in. The threads of memory began to weave themselves into a dark tapestry: polo matches, charity galas, high society events where Harry's fleeting appearances loomed in the background. Meghan had been a student in Marcus's school before their paths crossed. Then his friend dropped a bombshell. "Marcus doesn't just introduce people, Harry. He positions them." Harry's stomach churned. Suddenly, behind every smile, every casual introduction, lay an orchestrated performance. The implications twisted like a knife, and the nausea accompanied it felt all-consuming. With his mind racing, another question surfaced, gnawing at his sense of reality. How had Meghan afforded such an extravagant lifestyle? Flights across continents, designer wardrobes, and luxurious memberships. Harry knew her salary from her television role. It didn't add up. Driven by instinct, he contacted another connection, this one tied to Soho House in Toronto. What he learned made his veins run cold. Meghan had enjoyed a fully covered membership for 5 years. When he probed about the benefactor, a hesitant voice revealed that Marcus has ways of making sure certain women have access, corporate accounts, no questions asked. The chilling truth dawned on Harry. Someone had been strategically investing in Meghan's rise from a bit-part actress into a global socialite, impeccably crafted for elite gatherings. In a frenzy, Harry began tabulating the costs: flights, high-end outfits, lifestyle expenses, luxury accommodations. The total was staggering: $70,000 a year. None of it could have been funded by her television career. A simmering realization began to take shape. Meghan hadn't climbed. She had been supported all the way up. Harry felt as if the ground beneath him had dissolved. Every illusion he had clung to crumbled into dust. But even amidst the chaos, his investigation wasn't complete. He took out the official wedding guest list, organized and locked away since that fateful day. Scanning through names that had previously seemed inconsequential, he was blindsided by what he found. Marcus Anderson, front and center, others connected to Soho House who had watched Meghan's ascent. He grabbed highlighters and marked it all, the names glaring back at him like accusations. These people weren't mere acquaintances. They were part of her network, a carefully curated assembly of those who had propelled her forward every step of the way. Staring blankly at the photographs from their wedding reception, surrounded by familiar faces, Harry realized the enormity of his disillusionment. Their wedding had been a calculated summit, a gathering of the very network that had crafted Meghan's image, the ones who had orchestrated her rise. The elation that once characterized their union now felt like a cruel facade. As nights dragged on, sleep became a distant memory. Drenched in anxiety, he oscillated between frantic searches and painstaking cross-references, his appetite withering away. Yet, one untouched relic lingered in his memory, a collection of voicemails from William. Time had faded the urgency of those messages, but not their significance. Scrolling through memories long buried, Harry stumbled upon November 2017, a voicemail he had dismissively ignored. As William's voice resonated through the quiet of his office, he felt the weight of his brother's warning. "Harry, you need to listen. She's part of the Soho House crowd. Marcus's reputation is well known. This isn't random." Frozen, Harry replayed it over and over, the weight of his brother's concern crashing down on him. Another voicemail described Meghan's connections to Harry's charity donors, while the last reiterated the ties Marcus had to Harry's social circle. Realization struck like a lightning bolt. William hadn't been acting out of jealousy. He had been attempting to save him. As the gravity of this truth settled in, Harry felt everything fracture within him. In the silent desolation of night, he lay awake, replaying every fond memory of the past decade. Had any moment they shared been genuine, or was everything a calculated performance designed for his naive affection? Now, staring at the ceiling, he confronted a chilling truth. Meghan hadn't simply entered his world. She had been carefully guided into it, step by meticulous step, funding and support forming the foundation of her ascent. The boy who had yearned for love and acceptance now faced the reality that he had been maneuvered into a role, another piece in a larger scheme. This revelation cut deeper than anything he had ever endured. Harry realized he had not found love, but had been targeted in a game far beyond him. The horror of this truth loomed over him, a relentless nightmare from which there was no escape.